On the last episode of Lower Decks, the Lower Deckers experience another one of Boimler's holodeck movie programs. We get a whole bunch of Star Trek movie references, and Boimler has an existential crisis for no reason because he believes that his transporter clone counterpart has died a very meaningless and abrupt death. But it was very much awesomely revealed at the end of the episode that his transporter clone counterpart was adopted into the scandalous and secretive Section 31 Starfleet organization. And in today's episode, Captain Freeman is very adamant on getting her Starfleet Project Swing By approved. That means she has to make a good impression to a member of the Federation News Network that is showing up to the Cerritos to do a report. This makes Captain Freeman do a couple things that she ends up regretting. Let's get right into it. Welcome back to another one of my Star Trek reviews. Today going to be reviewing Season 3, Episode 9, labeled Trusted Sources. This episode starts off with Captain Freeman basically briefing the senior staff and having a talk with an admiral known as Admiral Buenamigo. It looks really cool. Admittedly, a lot of the admiral designs and a lot of the designs in Lower Decks in general are just pretty great, and this episode kind of reminds us of that because there is a member of the Federation News Network aboard the Cerritos doing a piece on Captain Freeman, her ship, and her crew in wake of Captain Freeman trying to get this kind of directive passed known as like Project Flyby or Project Drop By. Damn, I butchered that. It's actually called Project Swing By, okay? Basically, this project is going to give all of the California classes a lot more responsibility, not just doing their normal second contact missions, but kind of visiting these planets that Starfleet has already been to like way more regularly, and that's going to be their job as the California class ships, which is actually a pretty great idea. Captain Freeman goes crazy because she really wants to make a great first impression to this news reporter. She kind of has an idea about how sleazy news reporters can be and how they could put together an hit piece, and I'm pretty sure this is a reference to the news reporter that was like in episode 1 or 2 of first season of Star Trek Picard, the one who kind of like battered Picard and was ruthlessly berating him with questions to the point where he kind of had like a Vietnam flashback. He got frustrated and BM'd her, which was a really great scene. I think that this is where this character is spawning from, because I don't know if there's really truly been a Federation News Network prior to this. The only thing that's really been kind of referenced journalist-wise is Jake Sisko's desire to pursue a career in journalism, but they never really referenced kind of like a one-piece news organization that distributes news to everybody in the Federation. One of the first proving grounds for Project Swing By is going back to the planet of the Ornarans and the Breccians, the two planets that are next to each other. It's that one TNG episode, Symbiosis. It's like explicitly referenced in this episode. I don't even need to sit here and explain to you what goes on in Symbiosis, because if you're watching this video, you probably already know. And then on top of that, they also just explicitly summarize what happened in Symbiosis. So I don't really need to tell you guys, but it was just a really awesome reference, and Project Swing By is really cool to me. I constantly fantasize about creating a Star Trek show of my own and directing it and like writing some episodes. I would constantly go back and revisit some planets that we've already been to, because honestly, Starfleet has come to these planets, shaken up their civilization a little bit, and I would love to see the consequences of that and where they've kind of changed and developed. But they actually go back to the home planet of the Breccians and the Ornarans, and everything is just completely chill. They joke about how Picard really knew what he was doing, and he actually fixed everything that was going on there. And my favorite thing about this episode was the mural Ornarans created about their timeline of, okay, here they are addicted to drugs. Here's Picard flying away in the godlike Enterprise D with all the drugs taking them away. And then here's the inner demons and like dark ages that they experienced. I thought that was hilarious. Ransom is just hitting on the reporter the entire time, and while Captain Freeman is just totally obsessed with getting a good report, she actually sabotages herself. The the only person who truly gives a great interview to the reporter that kind of makes the Cerritos and the California class seem like a cozy, great, loving, good place to be is Mariner. And after the news report comes out, they all blame Mariner, and they all point fingers at her, and it's literally like Larry David, like Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's this shitty show that, like, my stepdad loves, and I've watched over a handful of episodes, as many as I can. Basically, what this show is about is this Jewish comedy actor, Larry David, is his own person in the show, and he just is himself in his own little world that he's writing, and everybody in this world that he lives in, except for his managers, so that includes his wife, his best friends, all the strangers, just literally gaslight him at any opportunity. Whatever Larry David says is not right, even if it is. Everybody's job in the show is to just gaslight him, and I felt like that's what was happening with Mariner, like she was in an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Even Jennifer was kind of blaming Mariner for giving a bad report to the news reporter, because Captain Freeman was so obsessed with keeping Mariner away that she actually, like, kept her out, and Mariner had to sneak in and do an interview. But Mariner, as it turns out, was the only one who did a nice interview. They even sent her to goddamn Starbase 80 finally. This horrible starbase that they have been foreshadowing, and at least the last 10 episodes, finally sent Mariner there. Episode 9, I really thought that we were going to get some crazy cameo in this episode, especially later. They sent Mariner to goddamn Starbase 80, where she got so fed up that she resigned and left Starfleet and actually went to go and adventure with that attractive British archaeologist, Vosh archetype, which I totally saw coming when I saw their chemistry that they had on the little iPad, how Mariner added her as a contact, and especially how I saw that Mariner and Jennifer kind of almost broke up in this episode because Jennifer was just being a Curb Your Enthusiasm NPC for no reason, just like everybody else was blaming Mariner for no reason. But when the report came out, it was revealed that Mariner was the only one who had sweet and professional things to say about the Cerritos. Man, I really thought that they were going to bring out the big guns, because this is like the penultimate episode of the season. I thought we were going to get like some other crazy appearance of some Starfleet cameo when basically they show up to a second planet, because the Breckians and the Ornarans are so chill that it's like, oh my gosh, why are we even here? We don't need to be here. And it's starting to seem like Project Swingby is going to be a bust. But when they go to the second planet, it's actually infested with just overly aggressive Black Air Force energy Breen that are shooting up and trying to destroy the Cerritos. But then some lone ship comes and saves the Cerritos. And this ship's way smaller. It doesn't even have a crew on it, but for some reason, it's way more fit and way better armed to deal with these Breen and just absolutely destroys them. And you think it's going to be some crazy cameo, but it's not. There's nobody on the ship. The most saucy thing is that there's actually a little bit of a lore dump in an official new ship. Unmanned vessels are now like super canon and like a thing in the 24th century. We have the Texas class ship, and I don't remember the name of it. I don't really care. It's not that important. All that matters is the class of the ship, really. The Texas class is revealed to be one of 3 of these new unmanned vessels that the Federation is testing out. Everybody's attention goes to the new ship design, kind of like it normally does, and Captain Freeman's like, what the hell just happened? Then she realizes, oh my god, I was mean to my daughter this entire time when I didn't need to be. I had to be worrying about the other bozos on the ship. She was the only one being sincere. Wow, what a constant, nice chain of events. Very classic Lower Decks episode. I have no complaints. It was good. Was it anything super special? No. And honestly, it was a very, dare I say, predictable what was going to happen. Like, I saw from a mile away that Mariner was actually going to get fed up with the way she was being treated and leave and go hang out with the treasure hunting Vosh lady, especially after that moment with Jennifer. I saw it from a mile away. I guess I just have to give this episode like a 6.5 out of 10. It's not a 7 out of 10. I feel like I need to like it a little bit more than that, and it's only getting a 6.5 out of 10 because there were funny Kayshawn moments. This episode was good, but it could have been a lot better, and it honestly could have had a little bit more bread and butter. I'm not gonna lie. So there we are with my review of episode 9 of season 3 of Lower Decks. Thank you so much for tuning in to another one of my Star Trek reviews. How's your guys' day going? I have been listening to an audiobook of Warhammer 40k today. It's called Damocles. It's about my favorite faction in the town, and it's so lit. It's a load of fun. I'm having a great time. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to slap a like on it. If you have anything that you want to share with me, please leave it down in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you subscribe to the channel, very flattered if you were to do that. Once we reach 10k on this channel, I am going to do a fun video where I dress up as a Star Trek Xenos and go out in public and do some fun stuff. And if you would like to discuss anything that we discuss here on the channel, please join my Discord. The link is in the bottom of every description. And with all that being said, I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Live long and prosper.
Can I subscribe?